And now we will come to our first customer speaker. Bernd Hoffmeier from Karl Storz will present us with the customer journey in strategic portfolio management. Karl Storz. I met Bernd actually the first time in person when I drove to Tuttlingen for the ServiceNow Go Live cake ceremony. It was actually quite good cake, yeah. So it was. I was surprised. It was a very long drive at the very end of the German Black Forest, and it's a very small village, Tuttlingen. Wikipedia says it has about 37,000 inhabitants. The really interesting part, and Bernd will certainly tell us a couple of words about Karl Storz and what they do. The really interesting part about Tuttlingen is they have, in this very small village, they have more than 600 companies in the surgical medical technology area. And actually from this very small Black Forest village, there are many world market leaders stem from there. One of them is Karl Storz, and about 50% of all surgical medical products, technology comes from this small village. So kind of like a medical Silicon Valley in the Black Forest. And with that, I would like to hand over to Bernd. And maybe you can also start with saying a couple of words about yourself, what you do with ServiceNow, and then with your presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Andreas. Yeah, just first a couple of words of me. I'm Bernd Hoffmeier. I'm Senior Manager and Platform Owner of our Global ServiceNow platform at Karl Storz. I will explain a little bit more about the company itself on the next slides. Before that, I'm responsible for right now 5 modules with a small team of 3 people. So that will explain also a couple of things where we are heading with SPM and what we have done before. And I'm working with the company since 16 years, have done a couple of releases of ITSM solutions, and now we are stuck with ServiceNow as a platform, not only for IT, but also for other areas in our business. One of them is SPM and some others are risk management. But who are we? We are a company that is here since a lot of years, so founded 1945 in Tuttlingen. As Andreas said, we are a small area with a lot of medical device technology companies, and we are also manufacturing of one of those. Mainly we grow from manufacturing scopes and investing into video systems for surgeries, but we are doing way more than that in the meantime. So we have globally around about 8,800 employees, have a turnover of 2 billion last year, with a focus to increase, of course, every year. And we have roughly 70 subsidiaries in 40 countries, growing more and more around the world. And I think most interesting is we have production sites in not really very low wage countries. So we are producing high quality products for a very highly regulated industry. And therefore, we are also investing heavily in our employees and also the ways how we manufacture things. To give you a better overview where we are located, so you can see we are nearly everywhere in each country, in each area of the world. Of course, we have a lot of subsidiaries in Europe because we have there a lot of different smaller countries which all require some kind of an on-site support. But also around the rest of the world, you can see we are nearly everywhere. Usually, you never see our products, which is good, I think. Because most of the time you will be somewhere in an operating room where they are used. And just to give you a quick impression on how this looks like, yeah, these are 4 pictures of an operating room we have in hospitals. So we are not just providing single products like scopes and video equipment, but we are also supporting hospitals and other institutions to organize a whole operating room with our products, but also with other products, so they can integrate and be used together. And maybe things you don't know about medical devices that we are also producing is, if you're in an operating room, it can happen that somebody on the other end of the world is following your presentation because they are the experts and give the surgeon tips on how to produce, or give them an insight what they really see live within this operating room. So it's really impressive how this works from a technology perspective. So Andreas said it right. We are also somehow a Silicon Valley of medical device technology, which is always at the top of the time before it comes into the public, what is used, like 4K videos or something like that. Before this was known somewhere in the broad audience, the medical device industry used that already since years. And after the company for now, I really would like to jump directly into our topic today, which is now together. We want to connect strategy with project execution. I will give you a rough overview what we have done with SPM at Karl Storz, where we are right now, what we have not done yet, maybe, and give you some insights, aha moments, and lessons learned we had during our project. So it might be a help for you when you are starting your journey, or you are in the middle of your journey, that you can use these suggestions. So where to start? Yeah, let's start with the strategy. I think this is something you might remember from your companies, or at least we were structured like this a couple of years ago. There were some company goals, some company directions, but mainly the departments were on their own across the globe. Each subsidiary did their own thing to kind of achieve the target goal that was set to them, but it was not really a work together to achieve that in a common strategy. Everybody, or each department, created their own strategy, tried to find ways that this supports the overall company goal. But you might know already the downsides of this, that there's a fight for resources. There's maybe differentiating goals or strategies that bring the company into two directions, but not maybe into the one common that is needed. So over the last couple of years, Karl Storz invested heavily into bringing the departments together and coming together for a corporate strategy, which is now called Shaping Our Future, which is based on a strategy house that was developed, which includes mainly the things you might know from literature, or how something like this should be built, to have a vision and mission, some overall goals that you want to achieve on the long-term area. This is very difficult at the beginning to bring all the subsidiaries and all the different departments together to come to such a conclusion on how this should work together. But at the end, it is very helpful, and we had already a big benefit of creating such a strategy. So we started with the goals in mind, of course, and then some cross-cutting strategies and functional strategies were developed, which means cross-cutting is across all silos, across all departments, across all subsidiaries. Everybody within the company is kind of paying into these strategies. And of course, there's some smaller functional strategies as well, like in product development, which are maybe in a specific work stream, which are still going for themselves to develop new products or also business models. But at the end, they are also rolling up into the cross-cutting strategies. So after a couple of months and years of work, this is the way how the organization was growing and structured. And then they came to the point, it's nice to have now a strategy, but reporting on all these strategies and the initiatives and projects that are going on to support these strategies is just a mess. So there was a switch to look at the tool landscape as well. So for now, we have, not all tools are listed here, but just a couple of examples. So we have the whole Microsoft suite, of course, in our set up everything around project manager, project server mainly. So this was our main project management tool at that point in time. We used SharePoint for creating project requests. We used Word documents to support the project, PowerPoint to present things, Excel to do analysis, Teams to chat with each other and stuff like that. So everything was kind of used, but it wasn't really connected. Yeah, some people used to do reporting in Word files, some people used to do reporting PowerPoint, and so on. Besides that, there was a huge community around Jira growing that is still in use and was mainly coming from the product development side because they are more product oriented than project oriented. So they wanted to have some kind of a way to work agile, to work with stories, with defects, with epics and feature releases and stuff like that, which project server and the waterfall methodology we had in place there did not really work. So the goal was to reduce the tool landscape on that side as well. At that point in time, ServiceNow was set already as a platform for various areas within internal IT and also within internal processes. And together with Microsoft Teams, this was the go-to solution for bringing in the strategy and maybe also project portfolio management. But as it is in real life, we also still have Jira and Project Server in our environment, which is still used for product development. That's not moved yet to ServiceNow. And of course, we still have some smaller support from project and from PowerPoint and Excel for presenting things and analysis. However, the first project was started. The strategy needs to be visible. So we had some requirements. We need to have a tool that keeps track of all initiatives, projects, and everything that goes on for this specific strategy. This should all be paid into a corporate goal. We should have a similar reporting tool. We should have the same template everyone is using for reporting to make usage simple for a new user, a new project manager, but also to make it similar from a reporting perspective to upper management. And for me as a platform owner, it was very important to automate as much as possible, especially around the permissions, so that we don't have to deal with a lot of things around that whole strategy reporting. What was our goal at the end? To bring something into Alignment Planner Workspace, which is really the strategic planning view for all our initiatives and projects that are going on. And this was introduced in the beginning of this year and very well received, luckily. And then we thought, we are in good shape, aren't we? And after some feedback we got from our internal customers, we received comments around, why do I have to update the project manually? Can't there be any integration with Project Server where the data is in there? Do we have any kind of idea why projects are listed on our strategic roadmap, but there is no real existing project that is managed? So a lot of feedback was coming in there. And after reviewing all of these questions and comments that were brought up, a second project was introduced, which was the idea to connect project management with the strategy. So mainly changing the tool landscape a little bit, but also changing the way how we are dealing with projects and prioritizing them. So also there, we had some requirements from this feedback. Projects should be in the roadmap automatically. Some pre-projects or so-called demands, project requests should be shown up in the roadmap as well, so we can see what is coming in the pipeline for resource planning, capacity planning, etc. Reporting should be just in one place, and it should update everywhere where this information is used. And we had a different view. So roadmap is mainly for reporting to upper management, and project reporting is really for steercos and individuals. And around that, we came up with SPM, of course, to look deeper into what can support our goals here. And we mainly use these 5 green boxes: demand management, project and portfolio management, road mapping, Scrum or agile development, and time cards. With that, we integrated the project execution, the project requests with the strategy so that it is transparent to our management. What are we doing? What is the next thing in line? How good are we with project execution, from a budget and timing perspective? So it's really a one-time reporting to showcase that. A project overview, just to give you an insight into the duration and the team size that we had. So the first project, bringing the strategy into the system, was a 3-month duration project. We had mainly 3 people in there, not full-time, but mainly working on it. And this was setting up the alignment planner with a couple of things that we had in mind. I will come to some conclusions and aha moments in a second. The second project was the demand and project management. This was around 6 months that it took from the design perspective until implementation, and the team size, as you can see, was also not that big. Not everybody in here was also full-time working on this. And with this project, we also had support from PlanHorizon in here, mainly for the process and implementation consulting, because for us the module was totally new, and I'm pretty sure we would have fallen into some issues with changes. We would not know what would have been the impact to the platform. The aha moments we had for these 2 projects. The first one was with Alignment Planner, which is updated nearly every month with a new version. And at the beginning, it was just, I think, roughly not 1 year ago, but 9 months ago or something like that. We had difficulties building the hierarchies that we wanted to build, to have activities and products reporting into initiatives, how we are structuring them at our company. So this was kind of difficult. This might have changed now with the latest release to the different lenses that are now possible to create. And we have some difficulties with workspaces across different browsers and browser versions. That some functionality is not there after you are upgrading the Alignment Planner plugins. So there's still a lot of development happening there, and I'm pretty sure there is a huge defect list as well. Just some simple things that should not happen, but happens, of course, is that scroll bars are not working in some browsers, and then scrolling through a strategy roadmap is not possible. It's kind of difficult then to see what is coming in the next couple of months. Aha moments in the demand and project management project were even more interesting. So our first aha moment was when we discussed the requirements together with PlanHorizon and the business team. They just wanted to rebuild project server. So all functionality we had in there, they just wanted to have it again in ServiceNow. There was no discussion about the requirement itself. It was just a discussion about this field needs to be there and this selection option needs to be there. So it was kind of interesting to discuss this with them and bring them back to, no, we're going to the requirements and not just rebuilding something. After roughly 1.5 months, also the project team from the business recognized, hey, there's just more than projects. So we can use stories, we can use epics, there's investment planning, there's resource allocation, there's resource planning. So they saw that the tool ServiceNow is not just there for project management, it's also there for bringing the whole pipeline and everything around project management into one system, which was not the case in the past. We also did not leverage Project Server probably to its full extent. But after this was in their head, this was a turning point at the project as well. A huge aha moment was at the end of the project after go live. Usability and the acceptance of the tool was just incredible. There were just a 1-hour training that was sent to the users, and they were happy with it. No comments, no issues, nothing came up. So it was really a easy to go solution for us. And after the first usage of the first 2 months, people said, hey, this is really cool that we have a history track of what happened to that project and everything around that. So what stories were completed, what comments or communication was happening, the integration that we have directly from the project to Microsoft Teams, which creates your own team, showcase them, hey, we have a direct integration to our project documentation that we leave in teams, yeah, but we can always jump directly from ServiceNow into that. So it was really impressive for them. And for me, the biggest aha moment was when we started rolling out project management. We identified we had 170 projects on our roadmap, but we just identified, actually, we just have 84 that we are tracking right now. So there's roughly a gap of 50% where we had a project on a roadmap, which was reported to upper management, but actually there was no existing project. Yeah, so this transparency that we brought in using ServiceNow was already a huge game changer for us in reporting to upper management and also decision making, which projects are important and what is just a gap filler to report on something. Which brings me to my last slide, conclusions and lessons learned from our projects. First conclusion is transparency and the user acceptance has increased tremendously. So project server was always something, oh, I don't want to use it, that's so complicated. Then I have to use Word to fill out business cases. Then I have to use PowerPoint to present my things to steering committee and stuff like that. And with ServiceNow, everything is within this tool. People are going in, use ServiceNow reporting to showcase things in the steering committee. Yeah, they're using regular status reports where they're just getting the data if you're still on schedule, on budget, etc. You're using the out-of-the-box functionality from ServiceNow mainly to do all of that. So a huge time saver for our project managers, which are happy with that. Lessons learned, as I already mentioned, with the requirements for Microsoft Server, examining every requirement that comes to you as ServiceNow team to get the real requirement at the end. Most of the time, we identified that people just wanted to have something, but when you ask them why they want to have that, there was no answer to that. Then, as ServiceNow owner, consultant, or whatever role you play in the ServiceNow world, argue against requirements that are an issue to keep the process or platform stable. Most of the time, the project management or business teams are thinking it's their platform. It's my ServiceNow for project management, but that's not the case. The platform overall is still there for everybody else in the company, and things that you're changing might have an impact to others as well. So always discuss the requirements and try to find a solution to keep the platform stable and open for other enhancements. Start simple, small, with an MVP like we did. We just started with alignment planner and then added project management with demand management. And now there are other things coming like extending demand management and project management to other departments, or make it usable for other areas within the company. But they are coming now to us and we are not needing to promote it to somebody. They just start, can we jump onto your train? As already said, alignment planner is a little bit tricky and has a lot of development going on that. So going with updates is always a little bit risky and needs to be well tested. But overall, it's not easy to implement SPM, in my opinion. But it's worth the effort if you invest really time into how to use it and how to do it. You get a benefit for your company and make people happy using the tool, and also make it easier for them or simpler how they plan their day and how they do project reporting and project management. And with that, I'm closing my presentation just in time, 2 minutes left. You can see there's one question already.
Yes, thanks for this great presentation. From strategy to execution. I think we have one question. First, I wanted to mention my colleague Torsten. Torsten, maybe you can switch on. Right. Torsten has been many years with PlanHorizon, I think 11 years or almost 12 years now. And he's our managing partner for the whole area of strategic portfolio management. He did his PhD on project portfolio management, and he was the project manager in this particular project at Karl Storz. Maybe Bernd, if you want to read the question yourself, and maybe Torsten, you can do a couple of comments on how it was working together with Bernd plus team, and what you saw as the winning factors for this project. But Bernd, maybe
sure.
let's start with the question.
Yeah, so the question is about why there is is there a specific reason to keep R&D in Jira? There's no specific reason. So the go-to ServiceNow was from organizational project. So this was a starting point to move everything that is around IT projects or restructures or setting up new sites and stuff like that, to move this into ServiceNow. And R&D was always against moving their current solution into other areas. They are now coming and want to join that train as well. So I don't know how long we have Jira and Project Server and R&D, but there are more requirements from their side, how the tools should work, what is the process that they are using, and to not overwhelm the whole project team with 2 different project management streams and how this is reported to upper management and stuff like that. We started just with one part, and the next part is coming, probably starting next year or end of next year. That's still in clarification, but there will be something coming because the request is there to use resource management across the whole company. And if you're not connecting your tools, you have difficulties to manage resources. So at least that part needs to be somehow integrated with Jira and Microsoft Project Server if we are not moving them completely into ServiceNow.
Yeah, maybe a few comments from my side. So I have huge respect for Bernd, for bringing that alive, because as Ben mentioned, we were not there from the beginning. So we had an initial talk when strategic planning was introduced, and we said, okay, we can't support you at the moment, not enough resources. And we are also, to be honest, quite skeptical about starting with this alignment planner, because it was quite early at that point in time, and in most companies start with demand management, project management. We said, yeah, let's see, maybe it works. And I think an important factor was really that you have the strategies, you have somebody pushing the strategic perspective in your company, really a director who is also supporting you very well there. And yeah, successfully it worked, surprisingly and heavily. And then, but we also said, okay, you will at some point in time, it's not enough to have that in the alignment planner. You will need to have the demand management process, project management process. And when we started the project, then finally, I was quite skeptical about, okay, we have to move from MS Project. How will people adapt to that? And I think that was also the surprising factor. We worked very well together from my perspective to really argue with the process owners, with the people who were the PMO, who was supporting MS Project. And it was also a success factor that they were really open to new things. So they did not say, but in MS Project, it's working like this, and we have to have it like this. It was, yeah, okay, we did it in MS Project, but honestly, nobody used it this way. And so that was really a success factor. It was a lot of meetings, a lot of discussions. Why is it working in ServiceNow like that and not like that? But yeah, it was really good to do that together. So we were on the same page, basically, or we had different roles, but protecting the platform, making sure that it works from a process perspective, making sure that there is a smooth transition. And I think that these were our success factors for us. Thank you very much for the good collaboration.
Thank you too.
Yeah, maybe a comment from my side about Jira in general, or Jira and R&D. We often have at many, maybe so even at most of our customers, we have a coexistence with Jira, and that's fine. So Jira typically had a different way into the enterprises. So basically, like bring your own software, starting small and building it. So there are several reasons that Jira stays. So first of all, there's a lot of stuff in Jira, so the business case to migrate that's difficult. Many times we've seen that Jira does certain things very good, especially in the DevOps areas when it comes to the code handling, etc. But often there are a lot of different Jiras in the companies, and it's just very difficult to. This would be quite a large project for the migration to go to ServiceNow. What we see in general is that Jira is very good as long as you work on the departmental level. But if you want more this platform approach from strategy, goals and targets down to project execution, etc., that is way more different. Actually, we will have a short break in a minute or so. Actually, our next presentation, which will be held by Niels Bukani from Martini Biotech, that is a case where we pretty much at the same time implemented processes for R&D of this biotech company and in IT and in organization processes. So different processes can exist on the ServiceNow platform, and in the next presentation we will hear how this works and what are the lessons learned from that. So yeah, hopefully we have definitely a big desire to move to the business part of Karl Storz also, and hopefully replace Jira.